In this video, we're going to be talking about the Elder Scrolls Online, more specifically the Blackwood Chapter that's coming in June for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. It's been a while since we've done an Elder Scrolls Online video, but this time we're going to be talking about what they're going to be adding with the Blackwood Chapter, and more specifically, this is companions. Companions are coming to the Elder Scrolls Online. Not everything has been revealed yet on just exactly how the companions will work, but what we do know so far is that there will be 2 companions you can acquire in the Blackwood zone once the Blackwood Chapter has been launched in June. There is a male Imperial character and a female Dark Elf character that you can acquire. They have their own stories. They're going to have their own gear, skills, and AI, so you can customize them. But there are a lot of questions on how exactly this will work, and a lot of things that have not been said yet. Off the top of my head, some things that I really want to know is what gear can you equip on them? Can you use sets with them? Do they have their own gear? Is it unique to them? Will it be a drop in the world? Or is it, you can just equip them with some random item? Or how does that all work? That is an avenue to a whole new economy for the game, if that's a thing. Or is it going to use the existing economy with current sets in the game? That's something that I really, really want to know. Another really big question, skills. Companions are going to have their own skills and abilities. Are these going to follow the typical classes found in the game, or are they going to have unique skills to them? Can you mix and match them? How do you select what skills they get? This is very important because, again, it adds a whole new dynamic to the game, and you could have, companions that could do certain things, or maybe they follow along your class, or maybe you can bring a Dragon Knight companion along with your Sorcerer or whatever. It's really interesting, and that has not been answered yet either. Another question is the AI. You're going to be able to set the behavior of your companion on exactly how they operate. I don't know how much freedom you're going to have here. The only comparison or really only experience I have with setting behavior is in Pillars of Eternity 2, being able to tell your, team exactly what to do in combat. That was really, really in-depth with a lot of if-then statements, so you could tell them what to do in different scenarios. I don't know how in-depth it's going to be here, so I really wonder how much freedom are you going to have to customize their behavior. A couple other things that we know for sure, although these could change over time, is that you're going to be able to use your companion. It's going to be probably like a collection, the way the merchants and the bankers work. You can pull it out, put it away, pull it out, put it away when you want it. So it's not going to be with you all the time. It's something that's optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want, because I know there's a lot of people out there who like to solo. But you're going to be able to use it in just about every piece of content available, except what they said was solo arenas, so like Maelstrom Arena and the new one, or PvP. You're not going to be able to use it in PvP. Now, it would be really interesting to me to see if they added like a Battlegrounds mode where you could use them just for fun. But those are the 2 things you won't be able to use them in, which means you're going to be able to use them in trials and dungeons. That is absolutely insane. It could be amazing. It could be terrible. I don't know how it's going to work. Can everyone have a companion out in a trial? Are there going to be 24 characters in a trial? Or does that companion take up a slot? So you could have 6 players doing a trial with 6 AI. I have no idea. These are questions I want answered badly. Is it going to be now in the future that if you do veteran trials, you're going to be required to have a companion because they're a lot easier if everyone has one, and you're going to be kind of blackballed from them if you don't have one? Because currently, the only known way to get a companion is through the Blackwood Chapter by doing the quests there. So if you don't have the Blackwood expansion, it could potentially cause a problem for you, maybe, or maybe it won't, depending on how it all works. Another thing I really want to know is, are you going to be able to have fashion with your companion? I mean, you would think based on all the fashion options in Elder Scrolls Online that making your companion look sexy or badass or whatever you wanted to do is going to be a priority. Obviously, this is something they can sell in the store, so I definitely think it's going to be something ZeniMax adds to the game. But it'll be curious to see how you can outfit your companions, what you can make them look like. Can they use the same cosmetics that you're using? Or is it going to be, its own set of cosmetics? Maybe it's something you can craft. Maybe you can craft cosmetics for your companions. I have no idea. There are a lot of possibilities there, and those are things I can't wait to find more about. Now, besides trials and dungeons, obviously you're going to be able to use these companions for world bosses, hero storms, dragons. These are all areas where I feel like the companion is going to shine the most. There's a lot of times where you're playing off hours or, maybe close to off hours where there just aren't enough people at the world boss or hero storm or dragon that you're at. Particularly with world bosses, I think maybe more than hero storms or dragons. Although you need more people for hero storms and dragons than you do for the world bosses. But, sometimes if you're in a zone that just isn't very populated, maybe it's one of the base zones or an early DLC zone that not too many people are playing as much as the new zones. The world bosses have been scaled up. They're a lot harder than they were when the game first came out. So now being able to do them solo is a lot more difficult for most players. So having that companion might make that possible. and make it so that these people don't have to wait around for, players and just spend time waiting at a world boss or a Hero Storm or Dragon to get people to help them. And maybe Hero Storms and Dragons will go faster because you need, maybe half the people to get them done. I don't know how good these companions are going to be in combat, so maybe you only need, maybe you still need 2/3 the people, but it should reduce the amount needed for this and should stop people that, play primarily by themselves from being stuck on this content. But there are still more questions. How does this affect the balancing of the game? Will the dungeons be too easy? Will trials be too easy? What about the people that don't have companions? You know what I mean? How do they factor into that? There's a lot of questions here. Is there going to be a rebalancing of the game? You can only get a companion through Blackwood, so you can't balance the game around that, in my opinion, which means it seems like there isn't going to be a rebalancing. I don't know how you would rebalance the whole game around something that only a select subset of people have. And let's say 50% of the people get the expansion. That's probably an overestimation. But let's say 50% do. Then you still have 50% of the people that, if you balanced it for the companion, would have problems. And even if those people do have companions, what if they don't want to use their companion? Maybe they just don't want to use it for that particular area. So that leaves a lot of questions on how they're going to balance it around that. My guess is they're probably not going to change anything, and you'll just be more powerful in the activities you're currently doing. Since Elder Scrolls Online is a pretty casual MMO compared to some other MMOs out there that have, rating progression and things like that, that's a little bit more hardcore. And a lot of that stuff like WoW and whatever is in Rift are geared for a lot of group content. Elder Scrolls Online is a very solo-friendly MMO, so I think this is designed to help that set of people, and I think the rest of us are just going to kind of have to live with that. But I don't think that bothers me. I play this game very casually. I don't play it as hardcore as I used to. It's really relaxing, so I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out, but I expect some people to not be happy about it. So there are a ton of questions there. I don't know how this will all shake out. Obviously, we should get answers in the next few months about how this is all going to work. And when this goes to PTS, we're going to be able to test it out, give feedback, etc. So there's going to be that. But probably my biggest concern, my biggest question is how this is going to affect Elder Scrolls Online's game performance. It's no secret that the Elder Scrolls Online has serious performance issues with lag and whatnot, especially on the consoles compared to PC. And I really wonder how this is going to impact that. It's got to be more taxing, not only on the consoles or your PC, but on your internet connection and on their servers to render more characters. And imagine if, the majority of players now have a second character being rendered, and if that second character is using skills and abilities that are then being rendered, it's going to cause more lag, I would think. I'm not, a network expert. My dad does that for a living, not me. But I would think that just generating more particles that need to be communicated back and forth would, cause more lag. And I got to wonder if that's a smart move. There are already just slews of threads on the forums about people complaining about the game's performance. Myself have stopped playing a lot over the last couple of years because the performance has been an issue for me. I would really love if they made some changes in order to increase performance. But you have to wonder if this is going to help at all, or if it's going to stay the same, or if it's just going to make things worse. Now, one interesting thing they did mention on ESO Live after the event that took place was that the servers are all the hardware of the servers is all going to be replaced this year. Now, that was music to my ears when I heard that. Unfortunately, that was immediately followed up with, but this shouldn't impact the performance of the game at all. You shouldn't see any impact. They're just replacing old computers, essentially. It's not going to speed up. That's what they were saying. It's not going to speed up the performance of the game. So, my hopes were sort of quashed right after that. But one thing they really need to fix is the performance of the game. Again, it's much worse on console than it is on PC. If you go play on PC after playing on console, it's almost like playing a different game. So I'm really hoping this doesn't negatively impact the performance of the game, but time will tell. There are a lot of questions still remaining with companions, but it'll be interesting to see how they implement it, to say the least. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think companions is a good idea to add to an MMO? Do you think it works in Skyrim, but maybe it won't work here? Are you excited for companions? Or are you one of those solo players that's really looking forward to being able to do more content easily? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, stay tuned because tomorrow we're going to be doing another Elder Scrolls Online video about the changes to the champion point system. Yes, they've made some drastic changes, and we'll be covering that all in tomorrow's video.